Konnichiwa, Mina. This is Tisa and you're watching PokeCast. Today's review is going to be on a PS3 game, and that is Monster High, the New Ghoul. First off, this game was developed by Torus Games, released by Little Orit, and came out on November 17th, 2015 in the US, and is available on the PlayStation Network, and on November 27th, 2015 came out in Europe. Now, you're probably wondering why I would review a game like this. And to be honest, first thing, there's always trophies. Nice incentive. But that's not really why I like to play these games. When you do a lot of reviews, you gotta always do the other reviews too. And this is one of those games that I saw come out, and kind of a backstory is when I was working at GameStop, when the DS games were coming out, people would come in and buy this game for their kids, or the kids would actually save up their money just to pick this game up. And strangely enough, this became a series that was really hard to get a hold of. So that alone kind of always made me wonder if they ever released a PS3 version of the game, that I'd definitely pick it up just to see what all it talks about. And also, it's a girls' game. Never underestimate a girls' game. For anybody who's grew up in the NES era, you know what I mean. So, yeah. That's what made me want to pick this up, is because of things like that. And so yeah. So here's what I thought about a girl game. Okay, with any game based off of a show, there is something very important to get right. That is the story, the feel, and the atmosphere. Now, I've only seen one episode of the show, so I didn't have a whole lot of knowledge about it. I did find it entertaining to watch, and so when I started playing the game, I was very curious to learn more about the show. Hopefully the game would actually do that for me. So, as far as the story goes, well, just like the game says on the front cover, you are the new ghoul of the school. And you have to go around and help out the different clubs at the school to, help better the school, and also meet all the main characters in the game. And then, as everything's going along, something goes awry. You do find out what's going on and try to stop the evil that's slowly taken over the school. This is basically how the story goes. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go really into details because, I don't want to spoil it. So that's why I'm going to give a little bit of that much about the story. Don't worry, it's actually a fun story. I enjoyed it and was surprised with how much detail he threw into the story and made it fun. Even better is that after we completed the story, they had more things to do. We had some more quests. You had to, go up and clean up, finding the rest of the items. And that was a nice little touch, because honestly, when it comes to in-game stuff, adding it in to help continue the story, even if it wasn't a whole lot, is always a nice little thing to do. So I am happy that they did something like that. The story was a good surprise, but how about the gameplay? Well, let's start off by the ghoul creation. At the start of the game, you get to make your own personal ghoul. That's who you get to be during the game. Now you do get to choose from several types of ghouls. Vampire, zombie, werecat, even a ghost. That way you can make what you like. From there you get to choose your clothing, hairstyle, color of hair, and skin tone. You don't have to worry too much about the name, because whenever there is any voice acting, all they'll say is new ghoul, hey ghoul, and stuff like that, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Then it's off to school. Alright, so now you're off to school. But how do you control your character? Well, luckily there's not a whole lot of controls to really worry about. L is for moving, R is for camera, then X is to jump, triangle is action button, R1 is for finding hidden items. This, of course, is only during the times that you have to go on a scavenger hunt will you be able to use this ability for its fullest. L1 is to reset camera, and then select is to open up your eye coffin. Yes, you heard me, eye coffin. These are basically the controls, and then there's some other controls for the different minigames. Other than that, not very much. To help you out on your quest, the game gives you an arrow right under you. Just follow it, and you'll be able to go where you need to. Now keep your eyes open, there are a ton of collectibles in this game. There is also coins that you need to collect to buy clothings and get some of the trophies. Out of all of the collectibles, the worst ones are the locker codes. These are hidden everywhere and can be a really pain in the butt. There are only 20 of them, but they're able to hide some of them really good. And if you don't keep your eyes open for them, yeah, they're just horrible to find. Then after you get the locker code, you have to go and find the locker with the orange exclamation mark above them. These are important because within the lockers you'll find collectibles and coins. Yeah, have fun with that. Trust me, it gets annoying because of some of them are nicely hidden. It drove me crazy, particularly for finding these ones. The next thing I found fun was the minigames. There wasn't a whole lot of them, but they were nice and helped change the game every so often. There was the rhythm game for the fear leaders. The line maze for the robotics club. And of course there is the finding quests and the serving quests, which I've already shown in the video. I found all of them to be at least entertaining to help bring something more to the game. I found the rhythm game to be a lot of fun, but it was just a little too easy. I think they should have made it a little bit harder than what they did. Oh well. The last thing to talk about the gameplay is how your day is done. There are 3 time zones within the game. And you get before school, lunch, and then after school. So you wake up, you clean your room, then you go to school. You do any quests that have been given to you before class. When you're done with those, you go to class. The time changes. Then you do the quests at lunch, go to class. Then you do more quests. Then you go home. That's how you play the game. Don't miss any quests. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure if you miss certain quests, you don't get 100%. So be very careful about not skipping any quests that can be done during that time period. With gameplay comes the most important thing, graphics. Now, I know I said an important thing, but graphics aren't everything. And yes, the game, as you've been watching, does look like it's an older graphics for the PS3, but that's not a bad thing. I'm happy that they didn't go all out and go super maximum what the PS3 could do. I don't think it would have helped the game. The nice cell shading that they have really helps out bringing out the atmosphere since it is based off of a Flash animation cartoon. So that was something that I thought was a good idea that they did. Now, definitely during the whole game, most of the graphics are 3D. But then, as you can see on the TV back here, the posters, there's also a lot of 2D graphics which are nicely done and appear to be drawn by the actual artist himself because they are the art from the actual show. So that was something that I really thought was good. And mainly it's going to be your posters, your icons in the iCoffin, and of course the TV where the 2D is going to appear. So it was a nice little thing to see because it doesn't bog the game down, if you will, and it helps the game flow quite nicely. The last thing to talk really about the graphics is the clothing. Now, because I played a lot of MMOs and a lot of games with character creation, you do get attached to the clothing you can get to make your characters look good. You just have to admit to it. Doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl, if you're able to customize your character, you enjoy it. Now, this is one thing that I was a little sad that, yeah, I haven't been able to buy everything yet because it takes forever. But so far, I think I have about 8 different styles of, the shirts, skirts, and everything. But you'll get one design, and then you have like 6 different colors. Now, I know this is nice because of those who actually like having the choice between the color to help match your character, but I found it kind of a cheesy way out since there's a lot of things that we don't get to get that could be. But it's not a game breaker in any means. I know that they were just trying to, stick to what most of the girls wore in the shows that you already got to watch and the movies, so that's probably why they went that way. The next thing a game needs is sound. Now, in this game, the sound effects, they're okay. Nothing big or awesome that you really have to worry about. So I'll be talking about mainly the 2 biggest things, the voice acting and the music. First off, the music wasn't all too bad. In all, there's about 4 songs you get to hear throughout the game. The biggest one, of course, is the Monster High theme song, which, careful, that song can get stuck in your head because it's very catchy. And you'll hear it a lot. Whenever you're in fear leading, whenever the game opens. Luckily, it's not as much as it could be, so you at least get a break from that one. The next one is the main atmosphere music. This song is on a loop, and it is played throughout the game. This is really the song that you will hear almost your entire gameplay until we get to hear the main theme. So trust me, even though the main theme is one of those catchy ones you hate to get you stuck in your head, you'll be happy when you get to hear it at least the loop isn't super short, so it's bearable, and it works with what the game is. Other than that, I think there's about 2 more songs, and that's because there's a remixer in this game that will have you hear what he's remixed. So then you get to hear those, and then that particular song is then used later in some of the events going on. So there is at least 3 to 4 tracks, but you just get ready because you mostly hear the atmosphere theme and the main theme to Monster High. The next thing is the voice acting. At times, the voices seem off. What I mean by this is the voices don't always match the monsters. That was a little sad, but by no means ruins the game. I know that that's exactly the personalities, accents, and traits that the characters already had from the show, so it's not something that was disappointing. Now, going into the game firsthand without ever seeing one of the shows, then you'd wonder, like, why this accent on this person? True that most of the vampires, okay, I shouldn't say most of the vampires, some of the vampires do have the Transylvanian accent. The other ones just seem to show off where they live, like, because they're not from Transylvania, but their parents were, but they don't have their parents' accent. You know, that type of thing. So, it gets a little weird every so often. And the funniest thing is while you're watching one of them, you have to let them finish talking before you can move on to see the dialogue. Because if you try to skip ahead with the dialogue before they finish saying what was on the screen, they'll stop talking altogether. So be careful about that if you want to hear everything they have to say. It's silly and weird, but that's just one of the little strange things that the game does, which made no sense to me. And of course, voice acting isn't all the time. Even if it is a main character, it will only happen during super important parts instead of it being all the time. So, don't expect to hear voice acting for everything, because it's not in here. Now, next thing I want to talk about are the trophies. Yes, it's something I need to talk about because I know that the gamers on Steam, Xbox, and PS3 are curious, is there actually any trophies? How hard are they? And is there any that are just going to drive you nuts? Well, this game does have a good amount of trophies. I think it's only about 24, I believe, or so. But that doesn't mean anything. For anybody who's ever done trophy hunting, achievement hunting, whatever, that the amount of trophies don't mean squat. It's the time it takes. This game will take probably around 20 plus hours to complete. There's a lot of them that really focus on collecting. The worst offender of this, of course, is the full wardrobe. You have to buy every single piece of clothing in the game. Now, I haven't confirmed this yet, but a few people have been claiming that this trophy might be missable, and I think you have to actually start the game with the PJs. I'm not positive about that, but it's just make sure to grab those first because I think you need them. Then enable for the clothing to come out. It appears on your online store on your iCoffin, but it only changes so often, so you only have the option of buying 9 different articles of clothing at a time. And since it's a random, you get what I'm going with this. It's just the worst trophy available in this game. So get ready to spend a lot of time, because not only that, you have to go out and collect all the coins around the school, which don't appear as often as you would hope, or in large quantities. And all the articles of clothing are way too expensive, so it even makes it worse. So get ready at the end of the game to just go to school, collect coins, finish the day, go to sleep, where you can get your sleep bonus coins, because that would be the most coins you'll be getting throughout the day. Other than that trophy, the rest of them are pretty tame and not too hard, since a lot of them consist of story driven, and I think the only other missable trophy is a social butterfly. So be careful and make sure you say hi to everybody and not miss a quest, because I think that will cause it to be missable. But in the end, I'm not joking when I say you're probably going to be 20 plus hours to get everything, because it just collectible trophies are horrible, and well, 20 hours plus serves me right when you think about it. I did underestimate a girl game once again, and I'm paying for it in time. So be ready for this, guys, because this game is easy but time consuming to complete 100%. Finally, I want to talk about glitches. Normally, I don't really see a whole lot of glitches that, are worth talking about. In this game, there was a couple that, well, one in particular that was just absolutely hilarious. And that is the door jam glitch. Since the NPCs basically walk around and that's what they do, you gotta be careful, because you're not allowed to pass through any characters. The characters are there and you will move out of their way. There is no passing through characters. The funny part about this is that counts for the NPCs as well. And if an NPC goes into a door and another NPC is trying to leave that door, they will get stuck. Luckily, as long as you go through another door and come back out, you can reset that and solve the problem. But I kid you not, it was a surprise and it made me laugh, because it's like, oh, really? That's just funny as heck. I really thought that was hilarious. Now, I only had that glitch happen once the entire gameplay, so it's not something that is occurring quite often, because like I said, I only had it happen once, but it was hilarious when it did, and I thought, oh, that was unintended. Other than that, the only other thing I'd have is every once in a while the game would just freeze. Now, I don't know if that was because of my system not loading correctly or what, but just every so often during the loading screen it would just not load properly. This did not happen very often, so it's not a huge thing, but get ready. Luckily, the game auto-saves after each time passing, so at least it's not going to be a huge downer about that. And those are like the two major glitches I saw in the game. If they're, any more, well, I didn't see them. But the door jam was hilarious. When it comes to my final thoughts about the game, I have to say I enjoyed it. It's a game that you could play with kids and not really go crazy on it. Well, except for the music. That will definitely get you. I like that it wasn't a short game. If you're going for 100%, yeah, you're going to have to put at least 20 hours in the game. And I know that I put almost around 20 hours into the game, and I'm still only at 90%, give or take. This is after beating the game too, so there's a lot more collecting to go, and try to keep your sanity while doing it, because that's just what the game likes to do, drive you a little bit crazy. This was a nice surprise, because having that opportunity to go and do 100%, but it's going to take you a while, was a nice little thing that they added. Then after you're done, you'll probably either throw the game at the wall in frustration, or put it on your shelf, and it'll be the one game that'll have cobwebs on it for the rest of its life. In the end, it's not a bad game at all. I enjoyed it, and I know that for the fans will probably find this game entertaining because they do a lot to bring the show to life, and that you get to make a character and enjoy it. In all, it's a great game to probably pick up for your daughter or granddaughter, or even girlfriend or whatever, for the girl that enjoys the show, because you can play with them and not entirely go crazy over having to play another girl game. Because surprisingly, there were some nice areas in the game which drove me crazy, but kept me wanting to come back and finish the game just so I can see the story and see how many collectibles I can actually get. And that is all I can really say about the game, because it was just so much fun to play. A surprise for, like I said, I underestimated another girl game, and it caught me off guard. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this review, and look forward to giving it a try, or if you're looking for a game that would be great to play with the girl that, daughter, girlfriend, granddaughter, whatever, here's one that at least give a try. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is T. Sakura saying ciao and sayonara.